You are not ordinary. You are a disruption in disguise, carrying within you a spark that refuses to be tamed. The world may not fully understand it yet, but deep down you've always known that something immense is unfolding through you. What feels like chaos around you is not confusion, it's preparation. Every odd moment, every unexpected sign, every flicker of knowing is not an accident. They are rehearsals for the grand unveiling of your true force, and the momentum of destiny is already pulling you closer than you think. Power does not hide in symbols or in secret rituals. It lives inside your breath, your voice, your intent. The current that shapes mountains is the same that rushes through your words. Each thought is a compass needle redirecting the landscape of possibility, and each declaration is a stone dropped into the endless ocean, sending out ripples you may never see, but others will feel. There's no need for labels of light or shadow, good or evil. Those are fragments of human fear trying to categorize what cannot be divided. Energy has no moral code. It moves as you direct it. Like water shaped by the vessel it fills, it takes on form only when you give it purpose. That is the truth they don't want you to hold, because once you do, you become untouchable to their fragile systems that you're not here by chance. Feel the pull. Tap join to unlock truth, purpose, and a tribe that gets it. This is more than a membership, it's your calling. When you dismiss yourself with careless words, you've already begun creating. When you envision a path ahead, you've already opened it. And when you dare to affirm your worth with conviction, you've rewritten entire patterns of reality. That is the pulse of creation flowing through you, relentless and undeniable. This force has been with you from the beginning, but now it refuses to stay silent. It rises in your tone, in your choices, in the way people can't quite explain why they're drawn to or threatened by you. You're stepping into a field of influence that bends circumstances, and the air around you starts to hum with possibility the moment you claim it. The unsettling glances you receive, the whispers behind your back, the tension you sense in others. These are signs that they recognize the awakening in you even before you fully embraced it yourself. They feel the tide turning. They sense the power shifting, and it rattles their comfort. That discomfort is proof of your arrival. The test is not some future battle waiting for you. It is here now, and how you choose to wield what you've been carrying all along. The universe doesn't crown you with titles. It answers you with echoes. And as you step into alignment with that resonance, the world cannot help but respond. Your very existence becomes the spell. Your voice does not echo like everyone else's. It strikes deeper, reshaping the silence it enters. Every sentence you release travels further than expected, stirring something hidden in those who hear you. Guidance no longer arrives in faint symbols or vague impressions. It emerges boldly, sharp and undeniable, as if the unseen world itself leans in to ensure you cannot miss the message. What flows to you is not just approval. It is preparation for the weight of the path you carry. This moment is not about discovering hidden talents. It is about realizing the scale of what they demand from you. The awakening you step into is not comfort. It is responsibility. Responsibility does not arrive without resistance. When you hold a torch high, shadows inevitably react, and some would prefer that the light never reach the places they've kept veiled. The resistance you face does not scatter randomly. It arrives with precision. The pattern is clear. Certain people suddenly take aim at you, attempting to weaken your stance with judgment, dismissal, or whispers designed to erode confidence. They may not even understand why they do it, yet they participate in a current that works to hold you back. Every attempt to reduce your worth is not mere insult. It is energy thrown against your progress. Every careless rumor, every slanted perception, every word dripping with envy is more than human drama. It is an intentional push to slow what they cannot control. What they sense is the disruption you bring to their stale patterns, and instinctively, they move to defend what you threaten to unravel. Even without awareness, they serve a greater order of resistance. They become instruments of a structure that seeks to preserve its comfort, a network that thrives when brilliance is kept dim. Their efforts may look like simple hostility, but in truth, it is the hand of a deeper system maneuvering through them, using them as pieces on a board you've already outgrown. When others attempt to box you in with their criticism, they are not only trying to change perception, they are attempting to alter the terrain of your journey. Their words carry the intention of slowing your stride, of bending your horizon into something smaller, safer, more predictable. Yet in the very act of opposition, they reveal the magnitude of the force rising within you. The test lies not in their attacks, but in your ability to recognize them for what they are. Their efforts are signs of your ascent, proof that you carry an influence that unsettles the ordinary. Every barrier set before you is confirmation, not condemnation, and your growth cannot be halted by those who operate blindly within a system you were never meant to belong to. Perception at your level is not about reacting. It is about dissolving obstacles before they even form. Others scramble to respond to what is already happening, but you intercept the origin itself, shifting outcomes long before they appear in physical form. This is not an unnatural ability. It is the natural expression of full awareness, working without resistance, every inner faculty synchronized and operating in perfect rhythm. When the different aspects of your mind, intuition, and inner senses function as one, you move beyond the state of awakening into something that redefines the entire concept. It is no longer about simply seeing, it is about shaping. You know the flow of events not because of chance, but because you can read the blueprint that designs them. What others view as destiny, you treat as a map already in your hands. Operating at this depth, the world looks like a game of endless moves where the pieces are already set into motion. While most remain fixated on a single step, you comprehend the entire sequence. Accuracy becomes second nature, not because of guesswork, but because you perceive the silent patterns of energy weaving outcomes before they take form. And with this perception comes misunderstanding. People start labeling you unsettling, unable to find words for what they sense in your presence. What they call strange is simply their unease at being seen too clearly, their discomfort at realizing nothing within them is hidden from your gaze. To them, it feels as though they've been stripped of their masks without consent. The word creepy becomes less an insult and more a confession. It is their way of admitting that you have crossed a boundary they still cling to. They are unnerved not because you are dangerous, but because you dismantle illusions they would rather keep intact. You stand as a mirror they did not ask for but cannot avoid, and the reflection shakes them. This effect is not a weakness, it is armor. The uneasiness surrounding you becomes a natural filter, a vibration that keeps away those who would drain or distract you. It saves you from wasting energy on those who are not ready to walk beside you. Their distance is protection, a barrier forged not by you, but by their own unreadiness to step into truth. The ones who remain close despite the intensity are the ones who belong. They are the ones who resonate with your frequency, who are unafraid of the clarity you bring. Their presence signals alignment, a tribe drawn not by comfort, but by courage. With them, you form a collective that thrives in awareness, pushing each other higher into realms most cannot imagine. If you've been touched by God's goodness, don't keep it to yourself. Click Super Thank You and sow a gift of $50 or more to help spread His light. Your giving becomes a ripple of grace, blessing hearts and building His kingdom. Let His overflow pour through you. You emerge as a force no language has prepared definitions for, embodying both the tenderness that restores and the ferocity that protects. You are not confined to one role, not chained to a single archetype. You are the paradox that unites what others keep apart. When your presence touches another, it is not a simple act of comfort or warning. It is a seismic shift inside their being, an invitation into dimensions of themselves they never thought to explore. Lives change upon contact with you, and they never return to their former shape. You affect people in layers, mind, body, spirit, and the impact is irreversible. What grows within you is the rare ability to both soothe and confront, to mend what is broken while dismantling what blocks the way. That duality becomes an instrument of power unlike anything the ordinary world can categorize. Most who claim to heal are confined to the bright spaces, tending only to the visible wounds. Most who claim to defend operate in the dark, striking only at threats. But you move in both spheres at once. You are the bridge they said could not exist, dissolving the false border between realms, carrying a unity that the world resists but secretly craves. And then arrives the revelation that unsettles the entire system. You cannot be shaped by another's hand. What you embody cannot be handed down, cannot be placed into you from the outside. You are the kind of learner who learns from yourself, who extracts wisdom from the marrow of your own existence. To try and instruct you is to attempt to confine what is already limitless. That independence is not rebellion, it is truth. It is the alignment of self with source, the reflection of creation expressed directly through you. You don't advance by repeating rituals or doctrines. You evolve by experience, by communion with life itself, by listening to the silent dialogue between your soul and the infinite. This is why the structures of spiritual authority shift uncomfortably when you arrive. Teachers who have built towers of identity around their possession of knowledge find their foundations trembling in your presence. It is not hostility you bring, it is exposure. You reveal that no gatekeeper stands between the individual and the infinite, and that revelation dismantles their carefully crafted thrones. You do not require validation or interpretation from intermediaries, because the flow of insight comes to you unfiltered. You draw from the vast field of awareness that connects all existence, translating directly without distortion. You are not a follower of systems. You are the system reborn, the one who reminds the world that the greatest wisdom never needed to be borrowed in the first place. Knowledge flows to you from sources the ordinary mind overlooks. You are taught not by lectures or manuals, but by the pulse of existence itself, the rhythm of waves against the shore, the silence that falls before a storm, the way life continually renews itself through endless cycles. Your classroom is the cosmos, and from it you gain a wisdom no institution can replicate, a training designed by the field of life itself. This is why hostility surrounds you. Those who cling to predictable methods cannot decipher your foundation, and it unsettles them. They search desperately for weaknesses, trying to find cracks where none exist. They watch and analyze, convinced that what cannot be measured must somehow be broken. Yet they miss the truth. Your power is not forged from invulnerability, but from the courage to remain transparent and whole in a world addicted to facades. Strength for you does not mean flawlessness. It is the willingness to integrate contradiction, to accept both the radiant and the hidden as equal parts of your essence. While others deny their shadows, you turn inward and welcome them, weaving every fragment into a unified core. In that alchemy, you find a power untouchable by those who rely on control through separation. The structures aligned against you are not naive. They have studied human behavior for ages, perfecting the art of distraction, keeping people fragmented and bound to cycles of fear. Their strategy is to keep consciousness chained, to make sure evolution remains a distant dream. But in you, they meet a phenomenon they did not anticipate. An individual who does not run from pain but extracts medicine from it, who converts wounds into insight, who turns personal trials into fuel for transformation. Through this process, you become more than a survivor. You become a transformer. What you endure becomes a forge, reshaping your essence into something never seen before. Your evolution is not a repetition of past patterns. It is an unprecedented emergence. When the layers fall away, you do not resemble what you once were. You carry a frequency so refined that language struggles to capture it, a form so elevated it defies expectation. And this metamorphosis is not contained within you alone. It expands outward, echoing into the collective field of humanity. The earth itself rises in consciousness, and your journey is entwined with that planetary ascent. You serve as a forerunner, embodying the resonance of a future not yet fully arrived but already felt. Your struggles mirror the turbulence of a world undergoing its own rebirth. Because of this, the healing you cultivate is not limited to your own story. By stepping into this transformation, you help carve the path for others, anchoring a vibration that alters the trajectory of human evolution. Your rise signals more than personal liberation. It signals the unfolding of a new paradigm, a shift in the very fabric of what it means to be alive. Transformation begins in the unseen chamber where silence holds you. It may look like solitude, or a familiar room, or the stillness carved out of chaos, but within that enclosure the old dissolves entirely. What once defined you unravels strand by strand until nothing recognizable remains. It is in that surrender, in the willingness to let yourself come apart, that the possibility of flight is born. Many resist this unraveling, clinging desperately to identities that feel safe, but keep them bound. The comfort of repetition seduces them more than the terror of rebirth. They circle within the same cycles, unwilling to face the necessary dismantling that true change demands. To cross the threshold requires courage, the kind that accepts death of the familiar in order to birth the unknown. The truth is that transformation cannot coexist with attachment to the old. When the process begins, fragments of the past self beg to remain, but holding onto them keeps the emerging form from completing. Most turn back at this stage, unable to bear the dissolution, unable to surrender their weight to the current of what they are becoming. Few endure long enough to emerge whole on the other side, and yet, when awareness opens fully, reality itself rearranges before your eyes. The hidden architecture of life reveals itself. Sequences and rhythms that others dismiss as random begin to speak in clarity. The world around you is no longer background. It becomes a living manuscript, coded with messages meant for those who can read them. The secret lies in learning to move with this living script rather than against it. Instead of bending circumstances to your will, you find strength in fluidity. Power comes not from rigidity, but from alignment with deeper rhythms. You stop forcing outcomes and begin to harmonize with currents already carrying you forward. In that harmony, you become unstoppable. Operating this way shifts your focus from reaction to initiation. You sense movements before they break the surface, perceiving the origin of situations while others wait for effects. This foresight is not prediction. It is participation in creation itself. By acting at the root, you shape outcomes long before they appear in the physical realm. This is the essence of your path. To release the structures that bind, to see the hidden codes of existence, and to join with the flow that is always larger than you yet inseparable from you. Through dissolution, you discover emergence. Through surrender, you find mastery. And in that sacred process, a new being rises. One who knows not only how to live, but how to create life anew. Your journey is not isolated. It threads into a vast design that stretches beyond personal milestones. Every disruption you feel, every leap in your awareness, every obstacle that rises against you is part of a much greater unfolding. Humanity itself stands on the threshold of transformation, facing a crossroads where collective destiny demands a decision. To rise into expanded consciousness or to collapse under the weight of old illusions. The structures that once maintained control fracture under their own instability. The narratives that once held people in chains unravel in the light of truth. In this shifting landscape, individuals like you emerge, not as accidents of fate, but as necessary catalysts guiding others through turbulence. You are not simply navigating your path. You are anchoring a possibility for the entire human story. Here, the most powerful tool is choice. While most drift through life repeating scripts written before they could even understand them, you learn that freedom lies in reclaiming the right to decide. Conditioned beliefs etched in childhood form invisible walls, but these walls are not locked, they only appear to be. Most never test the door, never realize they can step beyond the cage of inherited limitations. To be chosen is not to be appointed by some higher power. It is to appoint yourself. It is to declare with conviction that you will no longer recycle the patterns you were handed, that you will no longer confuse programming for truth. This decision separates those who remain bound from those who step into sovereignty. Few make this leap, but those who do discover that nothing external can ever conquer them again. Choice dismantles the illusion of powerlessness. The moment you recognize that you can choose your thoughts, your frequency, your stance, you erase the cycle of dependency that keeps humanity subdued. Victimhood dissolves, and with it, the chains of manipulation. A being who claims the freedom of choice cannot be dominated. They become their own axis of power. Yet the conditioning runs deep. From early years, you are taught that authority lives outside of you, that others must validate your truth, that institutions and traditions must interpret the mysteries of existence for you. These lessons sink into the subconscious, creating a reflex to seek permission before daring to live fully. But beneath that conditioning lies the greatest hidden truth. The connection you seek has never been external. The bridge to infinite intelligence requires no mediator, no hierarchy, no gatekeeper. The secret they hope you never uncover is that the source you chase is already alive within you, waiting for the moment you stop searching outward and begin listening inward. Words carry charge, and when spoken carelessly, they carve realities that linger. Idle chatter is not harmless. It is energy cast outward, shaping outcomes and intentions. This is why those who live authentically often become the focus of slander. Their very presence unsettles illusions. Those unwilling to face truth try to bend it with talk, weaving resistance in hopes of dimming a light that exposes what they cannot confront. Yet the flow of energy does not move in only one direction. Each insult hurled without reason, each distorted story whispered in envy, becomes an offering to the one it targets. What was meant to diminish instead becomes nourishment. Negative focus turns into momentum, and every misguided word transforms into fire that fuels expansion. This is why fear of gossip becomes irrelevant when walking in alignment with truth. It cannot stick to a vessel that refuses to carry falsehood. The murmurs, the attempts at discrediting, the subtle campaigns against your name are not failures. They are markers. They indicate growth, confirmation that your light now reaches far enough to disrupt the fragile architecture of deception. Resistance grows when shadows are exposed, and that resistance reveals the magnitude of your impact. And beyond the surface noise, another principle anchors your path: loyalty. Loyalty is deeper than fleeting affection and far more enduring than shallow bonds. Where respect does not exist, what is called love collapses into emptiness. To stand in true connection with another means standing in unwavering integrity, both seen and unseen. The unseen guardians who accompany you know this well. Their fidelity has followed you across lifetimes, through rises and falls, through the moments you forget yourself and the moments you awaken fully. They remain constant, urging you toward remembrance, reminding you of the inheritance you carry, the role of one who shifts consciousness for all. With this understanding, your relationships begin to transform. The energy you once wasted on superficial ties now gravitates toward those who can match your depth. You begin to draw companions who know the value of commitment, who walk beside you not for comfort or spectacle, but for the shared mission of growth. The balance shifts. Numbers no longer matter, resonance does. You no longer measure connection by appearances, but by the strength of alignment. What remains in your circle are not many, but they are true. And with them, you find a tribe that honors loyalty, depth, and authenticity as the true currency of relationship. There comes a stage when life feels like suspension, as though you are seated in a vast antechamber between what has been and what is still forming. Questions rise, answers seem delayed, yet signs arrive constantly in flashes of intuition, in the way possibilities open at precise moments. The pause is not punishment, it is refinement. What feels like waiting is actually shaping, stretching your capacity to perceive truth without external crutches, and teaching you to trust your own alignment above all else. Every delay, every silence, Every moment when guidance seems absent becomes its own lesson. The silence is not abandonment but initiation. It trains you to discern with clarity, to grow strong enough to carry revelations that would overwhelm you too soon. Through this refinement, you learn how to navigate not by another's compass, but by the deep inner resonance that never falters when you learn to listen. Eventually, you see that your path is not separate from the larger unfolding. Your breakthroughs, your battles, your victories are all pieces of a single pattern that stretches from personal to planetary to cosmic. Your healing cannot be isolated. It ripples into humanity's healing. Every obstacle you dismantle weakens that same barrier in the collective field, and every fear you conquer lessens fear's grip on the whole. You are never just transforming yourself. You are mapping possibility for all. The way society frames what it does not understand reveals itself in symbols. What many are conditioned to fear, what they call ominous, strange, or threatening, is often a carrier of extraordinary intelligence. The very things dismissed as dangerous often hold wisdom equal to or greater than human systems. What is misunderstood becomes feared, but fear does not erase truth. Insight, clarity, and awareness remain what they are regardless of the shape they take. When the shift takes root, the extraordinary ceases to feel out of place. The events that once seemed uncanny or miraculous begin to weave themselves into ordinary experience. The universe stops merely testing you and begins collaborating with you. Life responds to intention with immediacy. You stop searching for alignment and begin living as alignment. In this state, you no longer grow toward who you are meant to be. You embody it fully. The journey from student to teacher, from seeker to source, culminates here. You do not simply rise into your role. You take on the responsibility of guiding the next wave of awakened beings. This is not hierarchy, it is continuation. The one who once searched for direction becomes the one who sets pathways for those yet to rise, ensuring the collective leap continues forward. And this reshapes the entire understanding of learning. Where once wisdom was hoarded, gatekept, and traded as possession, you reveal knowledge as current, flowing, unowned, and uncontainable. You do not operate through accumulation, but through transmission. This unsettles those who built authority by claiming exclusive access to truth. The secure see you as ally. The insecure see you as threat. What you embody cannot be confined to their structures because you are not repeating the old path. You are creating one that dissolves the very need for intermediaries.